What's going on, YouTube? This is another Smash Temple in review. Today we're playing Bloodborne for the PlayStation 4. And as always in these videos, I like to throw some pros and some cons at you. But in the end, I'm going to leave it up to you, the viewers, to decide for yourself whether or not you think Bloodborne is worth your time. So let's kick things off the right way. A lot of people in their reviews will compare this to the Dark Souls games. Understandably so, being that they're made from the same developer, From Software. I don't plan on doing that in this review. Bloodborne is its own game in its own right, and for that matter, I'm going to give it a fair shot as a new IP. I think that's what it deserves. So, I'd like to say first and foremost that Bloodborne is a difficult game. There's no option for an easy mode. The game does not hold your hand. It takes a special sort of gamer with patience to be able to run through Bloodborne and enjoy this game without rage quitting every 30 minutes or so, especially when you get to the boss on your first playthrough. That being said, I feel that Bloodborne is a fair game because in the end there are ways to defeat different bosses and different enemies throughout the game, whether it's studying their attack patterns through trial and error, or discovering what their weaknesses are and which weapons work best to defeat certain bosses. So, like I said, in the end, it's going to take patience and it's going to take some determination and trial and error, as well as some quick reflexes to truly enjoy Bloodborne and overcome the challenges that you face along the way. One thing I highly enjoy about Bloodborne is its weapons and items that you discover along the way in your journey, whether we're talking heavy hitters such as great swords and axes, or smaller, quicker weapons such as maces, threaded canes. Not to mention, you also receive a firearm. There are pistols, rifles, shotguns, or, as you see on the back of my character, a hand cannon, which can do massive damage to an enemy. Not to mention, a lot of your weapons can even transform into a secondary weapon in itself. So all in all, there's no real shortage of weapons and items. You can also upgrade and increase the strength of every weapon in this game. So, like I said, there's no shortage of weapons, and I think that you'll come to appreciate that as you play through Bloodborne. There is also no shortage of different enemies to encounter. Some of them are absolutely horrific, straight out of your worst nightmares. This is the only game I've ever played where there are enemies that I literally can't describe to anybody just because they are so bizarre and so strange and so absolutely horrifying. I wish I could show you more footage of these enemies, but you're going to have to play through the game itself to see exactly what I'm talking about. Needless to say, they're scary as all hell, and some of them are absolutely massive and huge. So I think that a lot of fans of horror survival games and just scary horror games in general will definitely appreciate the different variations and all of the monstrosities that you encounter in your journey through this game. As far as the plot to Bloodborne is concerned, almost immediately from the get-go, you'll notice that it's very cryptic. It sort of shrouds itself in mystery, and it doesn't answer everything right away. A lot of it you're going to have to either dig for online or just discover clues throughout the world by talking to NPCs or just finding little notes scattered about. But all in all, if you're the kind of person who wants to play a high-end, story-driven video game, I don't think that you're gonna really feel invested in the plot to Bloodborne. I know a lot of people like that mysterious, cryptic aspect, myself included to a degree, but I didn't really find myself caring too much for the story of this game. If anything, it left me more confused by the time I beat it than it did from the very beginning. As far as the world of Bloodborne is concerned, the best way to put it is think Victorian era Gothic London. The creatures that you encounter definitely feel like they fit in this place. Like I said earlier, it's kind of something out of your worst nightmares. There's disgusting sewers to tread through, gigantic castles to see, huge moon phases. I mean, the map itself is just very interesting. It's very cool, and it definitely fits the theme and the vibe of the entire game. So I can't say enough about the map. It's great. I loved it. It's very dark, mysterious, creepy, and the audio and the effects that go with it just enhance the situation entirely. Now I'm sort of split down the middle when it comes to the online functionality of Bloodborne. Now one cool thing is you can leave notes for other players to read. As you see here, one of my notes was rated fine. They can either rate your note as fine or foul, depending on what you choose to share with other players to see during their journey. For instance, you can lie and say that there's treasure at the bottom of a cliff, hoping that the player will believe you and, ultimately jump to their death. So it makes it interesting, it makes it cool, it makes it fun. I definitely enjoy that aspect. But one major gripe that I have about the online functionality of Bloodborne is, yes, they made it possible to play co-op with your buddy and run around and hunt down monsters together. Sounds like it should be a simple task. Well, in this game, it's quite the opposite. In fact, it's a nightmare. I had zero luck with making it happen myself, and I have high-speed internet, so as far as the online connectivity is concerned, it's pretty abysmal, and I'm hoping that if they do release a sequel, they completely overhaul the mechanics as far as being able to connect online. Now, they do have PvP as well, where you can join another player's game and sort of hunt them down. I've had some pretty good luck with that, and that was a lot of fun, so I give credit to that, and they should definitely do that in the sequel as well. But yeah, guys, thanks for checking out this in review of Bloodborne. I think that if you're a fan of action RPG slash horror survival games with disgusting, terrifying creatures, you will definitely like this game, and I highly recommend you pick it up. It's one of my favorites. So, as always, guys, peace.